Good morning and welcome to Thumble Tumble story time. I am off the scale excited because we are starting a brand new book today. It is Thumble Tumble and the Eagalach Cup, but we will get to that in a moment because the first thing I need to remind you is, have you been doing the web, kids? Have you been washing your hands for at least 20 seconds every time you touch, well, anything pretty much. Keep those hands nice and clean all the time. Just now, it's really important. Have you been exercising? Have you just jogged all the way over here from the amazing Joe Wicks? If not, can you try to squeeze in 20 minutes exercise, guys? Again, super important, especially when you're spending a lot of time indoors. And finally, are you staying or are you being 2 meters apart? Be 2 meters apart. We've worked out that 2 meters apart, roughly. Just stretch your hands out like that. And if you can do it twice and not touch that other person, then you're probably a pretty safe distance. And what we need you to do is be 2 meters apart when you're in the park, when you're in the shops, when you're out and about anywhere with people who are not part of your group. You need to be 2 meters away from them. Why are we doing the web, guys? We're doing the web just to stay safe. We are trying to make sure that we do not catch or spread the coronavirus. And the best way to do that is, if there happens to be anything on our hands, we're washing it off. Okay, if that person away over there seems to have the virus and they do a big achoo and sneeze, we don't want to be anywhere near them. We want to be our 2 meters away. So, to help me with the web, I am asking you guys to send me in any videos of you maybe doing the web, because I would quite like you to show all your friends how they do the web. So if you show them how you do the web, that would be awesome. Washing, exercising and being 2 meters apart. And to help me today, I have got a lovely virtual guest. Fiona at Lynburn Academy has been helping us every single day to remember the web. Over to you, Fiona.
Hello. Remember to wash your hands, exercise and be 2 meters apart.
Thank you so much, Fiona. Now, Fiona was doing the web there in a sign language called Makaton. And Makaton is where we use different types of signing. Now, I think it would be really good if we learned a bit more about Makaton. So I'm going to ask you guys, can you send me in any words or phrases that you would like to maybe learn in Makaton? It might be hello, it might be goodbye. I don't think that was Makaton there, guys. But whatever it is, can you send me in what you would like to know? And we will ask Fiona if she can maybe build in a few more signs for us so as we can build up a bit of a vocabulary as we go through our Thumble Tumble stories. Now, yesterday, I set you an awesome challenge. I did. It was all about cake. What's not to love? So, yesterday, guys, I asked you to either draw or make your very own magical cake. And, I could just eat those pictures. You sent me in some amazingly, deliciously magical photos, which are here for you just now. Talk about scrumdiddly-eye-dumptious with a generous sprinkling of magic, guys. Yummy. Anyway, now I think after all that cake looking, I need to get through this so as I can get home and get some cake eating. I think we should start our new book. We are starting Thumble Tumble and the Eagalach Cup. That's right. We are starting a brand new story today. And this is the third story in the Thumble Tumble series. Now, what's Thumble Tumble? Thumble Tumble's a witch. She's a wee witch from the magical Isle of Arran. And there's a lot of really magical things happen on the Isle of Arran, guys, let me tell you. It is a place that you will have to get yourselves to after lockdown. Right now, it's maybe not the time to be visiting anywhere, but when we are able to, I would recommend you get yourselves on the magical Calmac ferry, otherwise known as the ferry boat, to the magical Isle of Arran, where you will see giants' graves, real giants' graves, actually, yes, where you will come across magical waterfalls. There's really waterfalls on the Isle of Arran. You walk out a platform over a big ravine, and then you look across to the beautiful waterfalls. There are standing stones, magic standing stones. There are real live haunted castles. There are ruins. Are they really ruins? Who knows? There are caves. There's been told that unicorns have been seen on the Holy Isle. So, what more can I say? After lockdown, get yourselves on a trip to the magical Isle of Arran. Now then, that is where my story is set. Now that we know it's all about a witch, she's from the Isle of Arran, I suggest we begin. And today's very first chapter is called Dream Crashers. 1 horn-toad goblin, 2 horn-toad goblins, 3 horn-toad goblins. Thumble Tumble sang to herself, wriggling her toes. But her sleep song wasn't working. The evening air was so muggy it was keeping her awake. Even though it was nearly 10 o'clock at night, the sun's rays beamed through the window of her tiny bedroom in the whitewashed cottage where she lived with her 2 aunts. Thumble Tumble pulled the sheet right up over her head and snuggled down in bed. She got up to 100 horn-toad goblins before she finally drifted off into a sleep that was not restful at all, because in her dream she could hear goblins chanting. Heave ho, heave ho, which was very strange, as the goblins in her dream were all fast asleep. Pulling back the sheet, with her head still on the pillow, Thumble Tumble opened her left eye and scanned the room. There was no one there. Before long, she was back in her own world of snoozing goblins. Heave ho, heave ho, the chanting persisted. The noise was even ruining the tranquility of the goblins in her dream, who were now waking up with grumpy frowns on their faces. Thumble Tumble sat up in bed with an equally grumpy expression on her own face. She looked around the room, scrutinising every nook and cranny. This time she noticed that the window was slightly ajar and that the noise was coming from outside. How rude, she thought. Still half asleep, she crawled out of bed, intending to close the window tight shut. First, she peered out to see who was responsible for this persistent chanting. The culprits were 4 pixies, who were all marching up the hill, dragging a huge grey net behind them. What on earth are those guys up to? Thumble Tumble thought curiously. She opened the window fully and leaned out to get a better look. Heave ho, heave ho, the thistle pixies repeated in unison, keeping time with their marching pace. They had made their way across the sea from the Holy Isle in a tiny rowing boat that was now docked on the beach at the bottom of Thumble Tumble's road. Thumble Tumble watched in silence, as not to spook them. She could remember her last encounter with thistle pixies and the head-busting screech that they could utter if they got upset. Instead of the usual grass stain covering their bodies, she noticed that this group had smothered themselves in dirt to help them blend into the night. Even though the sun was almost now set, it was getting dark outside, the camouflage did nothing to hide them, particularly as they walked past her whitewashed cottage. Thumble Tumble stepped back from the window and slipped on a dress and a pair of shoes. She turned the star-shaped handle on her bedroom door very slowly to avoid it creaking, and then she tiptoed quietly as she could down the stairs so as not to wake up her aunts, Bessie and Isla. She had lived with them most of her life, as her parents had both died when she was just a baby. Just as she reached the bottom steps, there was a loud meow. "Shh, Flopsy," she whispered to her pink cat. "I'm sorry, I didn't see your tail down there." Flopsy glared up at Thumble Tumble for a split second, then put his cheeks against her leg and rubbed his face on it. He could never stay angry with Thumble Tumble for any length of time, not even when she was sneaking out in the middle of the night and had just stood on his tail. Before leaving the cottage, Thumble Tumble got her cloak from the cupboard under the stairs. "I'll not need my broom," she thought as she pulled her red cloak off of its hook and slipped it over her head. "You get back upstairs, Flopsy," she murmured. Exiting through the magic porthole in the front door of the cottage, she started to follow the pixies up the hill. "Eyes front, hair tall, and heave!" called out Scout, the leader of the group. A particularly feisty thistle pixie, Scout was the captain of the Eagalach team. Eagalach being the thistle pixie's national sport. His purple hair had thin streaks of blue through it that glowed every time he shouted out his orders. He was now ranting so much that his hair was flashing on and off like a siren. "Are we nearly there yet?" groaned Lazybones, also known as LB for short. LB had been sneakily holding on to the net whilst the other pixies had pulled him up the hill. He was utterly exhausted and very annoyed that he couldn't doze off for 20 winks because of the blue lights flashing from the top of Scout's head. "No, not yet," snapped Snoddy. Snoddy also played for the Thistle Pixie Eagalach team, which is how he had ended up in his current predicament. "If you would help me pull the net instead of just hanging off the back, we might get there a bit faster," he added, having just noticed what LB was up to. "I'm trying," exclaimed LB. "Honestly, I just can't keep up." "It would help if you actually tried to walk instead of lying on your belly," Snoddy shot back. He was so busy arguing with LB that he let go of the net as well. Rocky, the fourth member of the group, was the keeper for the Eagalach team. Stockier than his three friends, his bulging biceps were by far the strongest of the Thistle Pixies. He did not take kindly to being the only pixie left to pull the unwieldy net up the hill. "A little help, guys," he yelled. "I'm sorry," said Noddy, guiltily seizing hold of the net. LB did not follow suit. Instead, he lounged back on the net as though he was sitting in a hammock for a snooze. As their leader, Scout was being extra vigilant on this evening's mission to Black Cemetery. He had been inside the haunted graveyard before, and unlike his companions, knew just how dangerous it is to venture there at night. On the brow of the hill, he held up his right hand to indicate to the others to stop, but the flashing lights from his hair were so bright they couldn't see properly, and as a result, Rocky cannoned straight into his back. "I gave the sign to stop," Scout yelped, winded by the impact. "Apologies, Scout. Couldn't see you there," said Rocky, trying not to smirk. "Any chance you could switch off, your hair lights?" "We'll all need to cover our hair from here on," Scout snapped back, handing Rocky something that resembled a sack. "The creepers will see your fancy bouffant a mile away." Rocky opened the sack to reveal a pointy black hat. "A gnome's hat!" he exclaimed in disgust. "I'm not wearing that thing. It'll ruin my hairstyle." "Not laughing now," Snoddy said, sneakily poking Rocky. "And neither are you," said Scout, handing Snoddy his hat. Snoddy's smirk turned to a frown as he pulled on the giant gnome's hat. "Where's LB?" asked Scout. "I think he must have fallen off the net a bit further down the hill," Snoddy volunteered. "Oh, well, I suppose we'll pick him up on the way back," said Scout in a resigned tone, And with that, he went down on his hands and knees and started crawling along the ground. "What's he up to?" Rocky whispered. "I'm not sure," replied Snoddy under his breath, "but I think we better follow him." The three pixies had only travelled a few feet along the path into Black Cemetery when they heard a grunting sound behind them. They froze on the spot. The grunting got louder and louder as the unknown creature approached. And so they were all very relieved when the next thing they heard was LB's voice. "Wait up!" he shouted, grunting and panting, out of breath from walking a full 20 yards along the path. "For goodness sake, be quiet. Do you want the creepers to hear us?" scolded Scout. Thumble Tumble stood watching the pixies from the shadow of the cemetery wall. She listened closely as Scout ranted on at LB in as quiet a voice as he could muster. "If you wake up the creepers, you'll know all about it," he warned. He was so uptight that the blue streaks in his hair were now glowing so brightly they were penetrating the gnome's hat that he was wearing, making him look as though he had a big black cone-shaped head covered in luminous blue veins. LB, Snoddy and Rocky stood stock still, staring in Scout's direction. But it wasn't his strange appearance that had caused their jaws to drop. It was the creatures rising out of the ground behind him. That is the end of that chapter, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I am really needing to know, what are the creatures that are coming out of the ground behind the thistle pixies in that cemetery? Well, we'll need to tune in tomorrow to find out. Now, today's challenge. I was thinking, dream crashers. You're in the middle of the most amazing dream and then something is crashing into it. It made me think back last week on Friday of the amazing mural that Arkoston Primary had sent us in. Now, I don't know if you remember this mural, guys, but I'm going to flash up another picture of it. It was stunning. Okay, and if you look carefully at the mural, it's all about a child dreaming. As you can see, they're in bed, they've got a book opened, and then all around them are all these magical creatures. There are giant toadstools, there is a flying whale, there is a mouse with wings. And what that picture, what that mural is depicting is your amazing imagination as you delve into a book. So what I would like you to do is, can you draw a picture of the most amazing dream? Anything at all, anything that your imagination comes up with, you are going to draw your imagination dream. That is what today's challenge is all about. And I just want you to take a moment to look at the mural. Take some inspiration from the mural. That child is reading a book. Maybe think about some of the most magical, amazing books that you've ever read and just draw the scene from it, whatever you think it looks like. If you think, you know what, I quite like the idea in a dream that there are shooting stars with flying turtles and I'm riding on a unicorn, draw it. I want you to just let your imaginations be as free as they can possibly be and draw the most amazing, magical, imaginary dream that you can dream, that you can draw. That is your challenge for today. So the very first chapter of Thumble Tumble and the Eagalach Cup, which is all about dream crashers, let's draw a dream on a piece of paper that we've had inspiration from for a book, guys. That would be an awesome challenge for today. Now, what I need you to do is, when you have created your amazing picture, your amazing dream, can you take a photo of it and send it in to us so that we can share your amazing imagination with everyone else? And you never know, you just never know. Arkoston helped inspire the mural that you've just seen. Maybe your imaginary dream might end up on a famous mural somewhere. You just never know. So let's get colourful, let's get imaginary, Let's get as many magical things in there as possible. And I just want you to really let your imagination go. There are no holds barred on this, kids. Whatever you think. You know, if you think you should be on a racing car on top of a train going through a mountain, that is brilliant. It just doesn't matter. It's whatever you dream. So this is your special dream. Just draw it and make it as colourful as you possibly can for me. And then take a picture, send it in, and we'll be able to share it on tomorrow's show. Now, I think I'm pretty much there for today. We have started our new book. We are going to do an amazing Dream Crashers dream for our challenge. Please don't forget the web. Please take a video of yourself washing, exercising and being 2 meters apart and get those sent in to us. And do remember, children, to do remember to subscribe to our lovely YouTube channel. Remember to share our YouTube channel. Tell everyone about the Thumble Tumble story time. Please, please, please. Don't forget to hit that notification button on YouTube. You can contact us through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or our website. There's a contact us form. We're really easy to find. It's always just at Thumble Tumble. Everywhere you look, Thumble Tumble. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the website, it's all just at Thumble Tumble. And also, again, guys, I know we were out of stock at books in Amazon. I did get a few of you emailing us. We're back in stock. If we ever go out of stock, it should only be for maybe a day or two. Do remember, if you're struggling to get a hold of the books and you do want to get a hold of them, you can contact us. You can buy them through the website as well. So if your online retailer happens to be out of stock for a wee minute or two, then don't worry about it. Get on the website, get in touch with us, and we will be able to supply the books for you. I will see you, hopefully, tomorrow here, 9:45. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.